Bechdel test. You guys know what it is? You should look it up. There's a feminist webtoonist who noticed that fairly common in stories, particularly in films, there will be one female character and a whole bunch of guys. And the woman will never talk to other women except about romantic interests. And then the only scenes of a woman talking to another woman, so they started to call it the Bechdel test. Does this book or movie pass the Bechdel test? Is there more than one woman in the book? And does that woman talk to another woman about something other than a man? And you will be surprised at how often this comes up. Very frequently, you should study a little feminist theory, but very frequently in storytelling, people will, we're aware of not trying to, make a single weak female, and so writers, particularly male writers, will write into it one super strong, super female lead who there is nothing wrong with. Remember this over here? Nothing wrong with her. She's kind of the perfect, and the guys will be befuddled all the time, and they'll be making mistakes. But the girl is like super, she always has the right answer and things like this. Honestly, okay, let this get around. But the missionary guy did this. You guys hardly aren't old enough for the discussions. There were like these tapes that went along with the discussions. You're laughing. You listen to these tapes, and it's like the elders come on and they do a horrible job. And then the other elders come on and do a other job. And then the end is, let's see how the sisters do it. And then they come on and do it perfectly. Which is actually overreacting to PC-ness. You see this actually with minority characters too. Watch how often nowadays in a video game or movie, there will be one black character and they will be super awesome. They will be like the most awesome person around, but they aren't allowed to be the main character. They're either like the general, or they're like they're whatever. They're God in the Bruce Almighty movies. They are this awesome minority character. Maybe they're the magical Negro. You can read about that one. But they're the super character. But they're the only one. They're alone in this world, a sea of white males. There's like one minority and one woman, and neither of them have any real problems with them. And they will probably save everybody a couple times, but the story doesn't get to be about them. This is kind of the modern level of how kind of we're acting against, we're being PC, we're making sure we're including minorities, but they don't ever get to be the leads.
Just going back to the female, why couldn't she have a burning passion desire to map the world she's in, but because she's stuck taking care of her siblings, her only option to be able to hear about the outside world is through the weaponry that she sells to people who are actually traveling.
Okay, I like that. Travel. That's not a secret, but that's another passion, but I'm liking this one as a conflict. She can actually make this a secret if you want to. She's not telling her family that she feels really tied down by them.
He travels and enters beauty contests.
No, but nice try. No, she secretly has a desire to travel. I'm keeping this one a little bit more normal because the others are getting a little weird. This is a really cool one. This is a really good start to a character. Okay? So, yeah.
I would say maybe she made someone else pitched something similar. Maybe she made a weapon for a war that changed the tide of the war, and she doesn't like the way that that weapon changed the tide of the war.
Yeah.
And that's the secret.
Or she's gotten the opportunity now to go and visit one of these battles, and she sees what she's been doing. She's like, Tony Stark. Holy cow! So I'm going to build an Iron Man. I don't know. All right, let's go on to this one over here. You got one more thing. Let's go.
I just have a question.
Yeah.
When you create characters, do you map them out like this to kind of...
I often will to add flavor. I will start asking myself kind of harder questions about this. I'll go deeper than this. We don't have time for a lot of this. I'll tell you some of the other questions we're going to ask. In fact, maybe we'll do this guy's secret passion, and then I'll do like one different question for each person. So, what's a 6-year-old's secret? I don't think a 6-year-old can have a lot of secrets. Let's not do the 6-year-old having a deep, dark secret. Not everybody needs one. What's that?
I liked what they said before, making him so he can read people's minds. Something no one knows,
all
but makes
right,
him
clairvoyant. Cool. All right. Okay. So where would I go deeper in this? How I would start to go deeper is I would start to build other characters into their lives that creates friction with them. Or I would start to look at setting elements that would create friction with them. I would start trying to add depth to them by, like the girl, croquet player. I'm like, all right, do we have political leanings? What kind of personality type we're gonna look for? You're gonna use the color test. I don't always use the color test, but occasionally, like, okay, we're gonna make her red or whatever, that color thing, or I'll use this or I'll use that, or just something to say, okay, I'm gonna give a personality archetype to this person. So let's give her a personality archetype. What kind of personality is she?
Introvert.
What's that? Introvert, okay. What kind of introvert? There's lots of different types. Scholarly introvert, shy introvert, doesn't really notice the world around them, introvert, obsessive introvert.
Yeah.
Okay, I like obsessive introvert. Okay, so there you go. We get a personality archetype. That's going to help right there. So, 52-year-old guy. Let's add an unusual political or religious philosophy to him that does not meld that well with everything else he holds.
Racist. Staunch Catholic.
Okay, he's racist. He's racist against, say, an alien species.
Xenophobic.
No, xenophobic's been done too much. Alien racist is better. It's more realistic. Well, not realistic. Both of them are realistic. But if he has a certain alien race that he really doesn't like, was it you or was it you? That was you. Well, if he has a certain alien race that he just hates, that's going to add some interesting things. Now this is getting to the point where we've got a lot of things for this guy to focus on. So I would back off from kind of personality quirks at this point. I've kind of got to go, and I'd have to start working on plot sort of things. Because you don't want the characters, though you want to have a mix of different things, you don't want them to feel like they're everything but the kitchen sink. And this guy's feeling pretty schizophrenic to me right now. And so really I would start looking at ways to tie this all in. We don't want to go too far afield. It's good to be passionate about things not related to the plot. But if we just have a list of random things, you're going to forget about them as you're writing. It's going to be very hard to be consistent. And so I'd start trying to tie a few of these together. That would be my next step here. All right. 20-year-old, 8-year-old female. What else can we do for her? I'm gonna start with her with a plot hook. Let's say what happens to her. She's got her life with all of this, and what happens that changes and shakes up her entire life right at the beginning.
Someone threatens her family, she has to build a weapon for them.
Okay. Threatens her family, has to build a weapon for them. That's great.
A sibling that she's trying to take care of runs away.
Oh, hey, that's a pretty good one. You've got a little bit of a Pride and Prejudice thing there. Yeah.
Along with that, someone just mentioned with a weapon, maybe she got a special commission to build a special weapon and it's first time magic implemented into it, and the sibling takes it and goes.
There you go. Now that's a great one. Okay. Her younger sister
Steals the magic sword.
steals the magic sword. Okay, I like that a lot. That's going to be great with her. So she's got to chase her younger sibling. Maybe her, I don't know, whatever you want to come up with. You'd have to then build the younger sibling to make sure they're not flat. But you've got a nice sort of story there. Why would she run off with the magic sword? Our character has to chase her into the middle like a battlefield where the girl's going to sell the prototype to the wrong side or to any side or something like that. Plus she's getting chased by the person who commissioned this but thinks she stole it. You got a great story happening there. Okay, 6-year-old. How are we going to make the 6-year-old proactive? That's a big challenge.
He tries to affect the world around him on the things that he hears in people's minds.
Okay. He's got a Superman complex.
Maybe one of his parents is the bad guy and he knows.
You guys know Superman complex? Studying your kind of deviant psychological behavior will be really useful for you guys. This is the kind of personality quirk that is, you feel like you've got to rescue everybody. It's borderline codependent, where you feel like everything, your job is to make everyone happy. And if you aren't, you don't focus on yourself, you focus on everyone to the extreme. That could be a really interesting thing to try and work through with a 6-year-old who's got this amazing power and feels like he should be able to fix everything. That could be a good story. Your next step, and we have to end, but so we won't actually do this, but your next step would be, if you really wanted to, go do this sort of thing with your friends, or just take these characters, and the way to practice is have each of these characters kind of walk through the same scene. and have them notice different things. Have them describe it in different ways. You know, the female, our necromancers, like, you know, where are the ley lines in this city that I first come to? Can I feel the power? You know, are there any powerful necromancy? They'll notice, like, you know, the Gothic architecture and say, wow, that's a warding against this sort of thing. Or, you know, she may notice the billboards or the, you know, because she's the croquet person or whatever. You know, you gotta, you know, I would actually probably make her a sports star. I may not use croquet. I may use something else because croquet is a little bit quirky.
If you actually use one of these characters, we let us know. That'd be awesome.
I don't usually. I probably won't. But you know, if I were going to do, I'd probably change it to something like polo, so that it would be so there would be more of a reason for it to tour and things like this. But you know, string theory guy. He walks through the city. What is he going to see? Does he have, like, you know? He's got a really scholarly background. So is he going to know, you know, the different types of architecture? Or is he going to see the old city? Or is he going to be not caring about that because he's so science fiction-y, you know, whatever? Is he going to be interested in the technology and the types of phones people are carrying? You know, the woman over there is going to see weapons and know they're great. She's going to see metals. Whereas, you know, the kid is going to be like, you know, everything. See, he's going to be like, red, I want the red teddy bear. And that person, you know, he's fascinated by colors or something. I don't know. You know, your goal is to build these characters and then try and describe the world in a way that is unique to them and have them all go through the same scene and have, without info dumps, show us all this stuff about them without ever telling us in a single line their passions by what they notice in the world. Never say, she was a necromancer. Have her say, that's a ward against necromancy. I won't be able to enter that building. Suddenly we know she's a necromancer, and that's a much better hook. You know, you could start this book by saying, you know, Jill stood outside the building, confronted by an ancient necromancy ward, realizing she wasn't going to be able to go with the rest of her school group into the state capitol because someone had warded it against the necromancers. You start your sentence like that. Can you imagine, you know, a nice YA book starting like that? There's a great hook line for you that tells us, you know, we've got a 17-year-old necromancer on a school field trip, unable to enter the state capitol. So she's like, I'm going to have to, like, fake a heart attack or something. I don't know. You know, do this with everybody and see if you can get across, you know, mastery of string theory. If you can get across, you know, love of siblings and family without actually having a say. She loved her family deeply. Okay? And that's your challenge. Do this with your own characters in your next scenes that you're writing. All right?